Listen up, old heads. I know you want to show the whippersnappers how you used to do it back in your day, like you did back in the 90s, but there's a couple of rules. You can't just be an old head and think you're gonna knock everybody out the way you did back in the 1600s. You gotta come at it with a little bit more strategy. So in today's video, we're helping out those with gray hairs. We are going to discuss how to fight as an old head, and then how not to fight as an old head by watching Beneil Dariush's performance on Saturday against Quillen Salkeld. So we're going to take a look at this fight and talk about two do's that Dariush did. Two things that old heads should look to do in fighting. And then we're going to look at the big don't. Never do this if you're an old head. Starting with the first do, and that is sneak attacks. What do I mean when I say sneak attacks? Beneil Dariush, OG here, he does not have the speed, the athleticism, the reaction time that a younger whippersnapper, Quillen Salkeld, has. To land your offense, you aren't going to be able to just blast a right hand, right? You got to set things up. You got to be sneaky with your attacks. A sneak attack that Dariush used was the old, here's a left kick real hard on your arms, make you defend that, but before the kick has even landed on the ground, I'm going to slot in this left hand. The kick punch, that can be sneaky. I know this was a young buck example, but think of Umar Nurmagomedov's knee into left hook on Raoni Barcelos. That was kind of the roles reversed. But it's a sneak attack, right? You throw a kick, and then before the kick even lands, they're focused. Okay, I defended the kick. I'm good. Now I can start returning offense. You throw the kick. Before the kick is landed, boom. I'm trying to think of some other examples of sneak attacks. Maybe the jab into low kick, like masking things right immediately behind them. So the first strike, they're dealing with that. It doesn't matter if it's super slow. They're, okay, I got to defend this big left kick because if I don't, it's going to hit me. So I defend that, but the real offense comes directly after. And look, it drops Salkeld. Just kind of flash knockdown on him. Boom. So if you're an OG, you got to practice some of these sneak attacks. You got to avoid offense that relies on speed and reaction time and athleticism. You gotta go for offense that is about sneakiness, craftiness. The second do is to grapple. We were talking about it. Striking, at range, speed, athleticism, reaction time, durability. These are all things that are very important, and as an old guy, these things are dwindling, right? Dariush gets hit with the most gentle of shots, and he's getting knocked down, he's waking back up, it's oh shit, gentle shots, right? Durability's gone. So as an old head, when you grapple, you take the athleticism kind of out of it. You can grapple as a non-athletic guy and still be very dominant. You can use things like skill, technique, experience. These are the things that grappling really relies on. But out in the striking, it can get crazy. So as an old head, you gotta have some grappling. You have to. That has to be one of your main attacks as an old head to stay good. Think about Usman in his last fight against Buckley. As an old head, no knees. He's out there grappling and mixing it up. Randy Couture, one of the most successful old heads in MMA. Heavy grappling approach. He worked in the clinch, which is another spot where old heads can kind of remove the athleticism part of the game and make it just technique and experience and savvy. You have to grapple if you're an old head. And Dariush was doing it successfully for like 2.5 minutes until he gets to the biggest don't of the video. So far, Dariush winning the round convincingly with grappling. He dropped him. We're a minute 49. And then he does the biggest don't, the biggest no-no if you are an old head. Never do this. Never, ever do this. He lets go of the grappling and goes, oh, I'm going to elbow you in the head. Almost lands. But now, Salkeld can circle out. He throws a right hand, lands. Dariush goes on defense a little bit. But then he starts trying to trade. He throws a left hand. And Salkeld grapples, but okay. So he abandoned the grappling and started to trade. Even more. Okay, now I'm going to throw a left hand. Another left hand. He just gets into war mode. The biggest don't. Never trade punches as an old head. You're lacking in speed, you're lacking in durability, you're lacking in athleticism. And Dariush starts trading. After winning the whole round, he starts trading with the younger, more powerful, more athletic, faster guy. As an old head, do the sneak attacks. Find some sneak attacks that work. Mix in the grappling. Primarily, your offense should be grappling. It shouldn't be out in striking range where crazy things can happen that require athleticism and durability that you don't have. And the biggest don't of all time as an old head, never trade punches. Ever. Because watch. Oh, we're trading. We're throwing. We're going to war, foot in the night. Boom. And it's over. Never trade punches as an old head. Gosh, Benny. Alright, that's enough.